On this episode of ISO Watch, we're going to have a look at the Linux distribution that convinced me to kick Windows to the curb and start using Linux as a daily driver. Of course, I'm speaking about Linux Mint, and today we will be looking at version 18 Sarah, which is a beta release at present, and we're going to check that out right now on Spatry's Cup of Linux. Before we begin, I would like to make a few small points. This is not a review. You are watching a usability experiment in a virtual machine. You are getting my initial impression of the software. I will miss any elements which are transparent to end users on first glance. I do not take the time to research features. That is your responsibility should you wish to try the software. I will not spend enough time with this distribution to form a valid opinion. Viewers who are offended by this policy are advised to peruse alternative venues for their edification. With that out of the way, this is Linux Mint 18. Now everybody remembers when GNOME Shell or GNOME 3 came out, how it really ticked off the Linux community in that it broke compiz and it really didn't have a lot of the fancy eye candy that everybody was enjoying at that time. Linux Mint seized the opportunity to take GNOME Shell and improve it. They basically forked it and made it more usable. And instead of having the GNOME Shell interface, this has something a little bit more traditional, as you will see. This is the welcome screen here, which gives you some basics to start with, such as documentation, access to the forums, applications, chat room drivers, information on getting involved. If you need multimedia codecs, you can go here for that. And of course, after this changes your life, you may want to consider donating. And I always recommend that you donate to any project that you benefit from. It really helps them out, and it helps them to continue development. If we start in the lower right corner of the screen, we can collapse any windows that are open and just show the desktop. We have the time and calendar. We have the update manager, and it looks like we've got some updates since the last time I updated this a few days ago. We have a volume control, your network applet. This here allows you to manage your drives, and then your session can be managed here where this little figure is. Manage your system settings or log out, lock screen, that sort of thing. Okay, and then we have Nemo as your file manager. It has a nice theme and a nice icon set with this. Terminal. Firefox comes loaded with this. You can show the desktop, and then of course the Mint menu here. I'm not going to go into all of the software that comes loaded with this, but basically for the most part this has everything that you are going to need out of the box. So if you're looking for a Linux distribution to run on your laptop, this very well may be it. I can remember when the very first time I tried Linux Mint, it was using GNOME 2. And the kernel powered everything on my laptop, and I was blown away because I had never seen a Linux distribution do that before. And it had all the software that I needed. So all the accessories, such as an archive manager, calculator, yada, 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 that's included here. A few graphics tools are thrown in. Internet tools. A full office suite. Sound and video. And some administration tools. You can manage all your settings here. They also have a control center here, and I'll pull that up so you can have a quick look at it. And you can manage everything about this right here. Okay? And so let's have a quick look at some of these. I can't go into all of them, but we can pick a different background and theme. There's some that come preloaded. That looks kind of cool, actually. I like the darker look. It is kind of neat. Okay, we'll click the back arrow here. All right, you have a number of themes with this too. You can define your window borders. Maybe we'll go with a dark one. You can choose what icons you want. We'll just stay with the green for now. You can define how your controls appear. You can choose your mouse pointer. And you can add or remove desktop themes with this. I thought that was kind of neat too. So you can see the standard Linux Mint theme is the check mark here that's already installed, but you can actually get more if you want them. And there are themes available online. You can just refresh the list, and it looks like they have them listed here by ranking. So if you want to download extra themes, you can. I think this is a really neat feature. Something that I've noticed with Cinnamon that has always bothered me is the desklets. This tends to misbehave on me, and I don't know if it's going to happen this time around. I'm going to select this and then choose Add to Desktop. You can position them. And it's probably going to make a liar out of me now that I'm actually... but I've had this crash on me a few times. Alright, and it looks like we can even configure this even further. Okay, so we can choose text color. Okay, highlighting works. We can change the font size. Doesn't really give an option to change the border here. Alright, so it is making a liar out of me. It's not crashing this time. Before it did. But they do have some desklets, and I believe you can get more of these online too. Yeah, they've got available desktops online. Right here. So you can get some. So if you really like widgets and stuff like that, that's a pretty neat little thing that they've added into this. They have different applets for this too. I imagine these appear down here. Much like what you have in XFCE, you have different applets that you can have in your tray. This has a bunch of them here, and it looks like there's even more that you can get online. How cool is that? I mean, so you've got a lot of options here for this. Okay, tons of them. And it looks like the further that they go with this, the more that they're going to have available here. So this is really interesting. It's really nice to see how this is improved. For those of you who like the eye candy, while this isn't Compiz, it does have special effects that you can define here. For instance, when we minimize and raise the window, you're going to see that that's an effect that's defined by that. And you're noticing that it's also showing, when I mouse over the tab, it's showing a screenshot there. But, you know, you can change this as well. They have a fancy scale effect. Let me see what that one does. Okay, that's kind of neat. So it does have some interesting little effects. Experimentation is key, because let me tell you what, kids, you're going to be sitting here for hours playing with all the different effects and stuff like that that this brings to the table. So keep that in mind. You have hot corners here where you can, and this is a neat little effect that we had from the good old Compiz days. So if you wanted to, you know, define a hot corner, you know, you could have it run a command, for instance, when it's placed, when you move the cursor in the upper left and you just type in what the command is that you want it to run, and it will do that. I'm not going to do that right now. Just gives you an idea of some of the things that you can do here. You can manage all your accessibility. This is something that's very important to a number of people. If you need a high contrast, you can set that up, and you can see it just applied immediately. So you can set up pretty much anything that you really need here. So if you need larger text, it'll do that for you. So and it also has zooming and that sort of thing. It also has you can set up a virtual keyboard if you need to, some typing assistance and mouse assistance. So it does have some accessibility features built in, arguably maybe a few more than other distributions out there provide. So that's always a plus. And there's a bunch of other stuff. This has a driver manager. This has a firewall. You can manage your login window, software sources, where you're downloading your software from. You can manage users and groups. Everything you need for getting the most out of the system is done here in the System Settings applet. And so, yeah, good stuff indeed. And I'm surprised this time around it hasn't been doing anything naughty on me. It's been behaving very well even before I started filming here. So that's good stuff. It's just a sign of all the greatness, that Linux Mint has been bringing to the table all along. It's a very polished looking operating system. I like how this looks and feels. And even for running in a virtual environment, I know when I've tested anything that has had a GNOME shell base, usually they don't tend to behave very well in a virtual machine. You can see this has been quite responsive considering. So this definitely gets a hearty thumbs up from me in terms of the usability test. I really like what Linux Mint is bringing to the table, so I'm glad I had an opportunity to have a look at this. And this is a good this is a good distribution that you can hand to somebody who's using modern hardware that's looking for a great alternative to Windows 7 or Windows 8, especially people who are disgruntled by the shenanigans going on with the Windows 10 debacles. This is a good this is a good alternative. That's all I have on this. I wanted to keep this relatively short and sweet. Just wanted to give you guys a chance to see the distribution in action, and just give a quick rundown of the details and my overall impressions of it. Like I said, I'm pleased with what I see here, and I'll be looking at more releases in the future, what this is going to be doing and that sort of thing. So good work, Linux Mint team. Always nice to see what you have going here. Personally, I still like the Arch base over the Ubuntu base, but that's just a personal me preference. But still, this is a great work in its own right, and as I indicated, this is one of my top 5 favorite Linux distributions for beginners. I know Mint made the top 5 listing, and it's for good reason. They put out good quality work here, so good stuff indeed. If you think this is something that you would like to try, visit Linux Mint's website, download this, and try it out for yourself. That is all I have for this. I am not sure what I'm going to be doing next on Cup of Linux, but I'm sure I will have something equally exciting. Until then, peace out.